Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out my broadcast today. My name is Jonathan. Today is day 317 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. If this is your first time checking out one of my broadcasts, a little bit about me. I am 39 years old. I'm married and have 4 children. I've been overweight my whole life, and I had gotten to a point last year where I knew I needed to do something, and I needed to commit to something pretty heavily. And so that's where I started this challenge from. I knew that I had done a lot of things in the past that I've had success with weight loss, um, but and I've had things I've tried that didn't have success too. But anything that I did try, whether it succeeded or didn't, in the end, really didn't succeed because I had allowed myself to get up to over 500 pounds. And so I knew I needed to commit to two big things, and that was to doing this for 3 years. And the other big thing was to losing 300 pounds. And so I started off the challenge by doing an extended water fast. It was planned to do a 30-day extended water fast. I had done one about 2 years previous and lost a good amount of weight, but didn't do anything afterwards and gained all that weight back. So I started off planning on doing a 30-day water fast. And while I was fasting, I was feeling great, so I did push it to a 40-day water fast. I ended up losing 90 pounds. And at the end of that, I switched to a whole food plant-based diet with no added salt, oil, or sugar, or, we try not to have much with no salt, oil, or sugar. It's really tough to find 100% products for everything. But since then, I've lost another 100 pounds and have lost a combined of almost 200 pounds total. Carrie's checking in saying, hey, hi, Carrie. I hope everything's going well at home with you guys today. So the last time I was on was Thursday. We had a long weekend. We had a lot of traveling to do on Friday, a wedding on Saturday, and then traveling back on Sunday. It ended up being such that the way that we go down to visit St. Louis generally, when we go and visit her parents, they're actually further away than the city of St. Louis is. So the travel down and the travel back was not as bad as we thought it was going to be. But we had a good weekend. But let's see, since I saw you last, I guess since I was on here last, Thursday night, we were getting ready for the trip, and I knew I had some clothes back in storage, and I probably still have more clothes back in storage, but I kind of had a non-scale victory, and if anybody else has a non-scale victory they'd like to share, I'd love to hear them. But I was going through getting ready for our trip this weekend, and I wanted to see, the big thing is that we were going to a wedding, and I needed some dress pants. I knew I had some dress pants in storage. I didn't want to buy new pants for the wedding because I knew I had some pants. So I went through, I found the box in storage that had a bunch of my old clothes, and ended up finding a pair of dress pants that ended up working out well. And then also finding a bunch of work shirts that I kind of talked about that maybe a week or so ago, but I used to pretty much just wear my company's work shirts every day. That was pretty much my standard outfit. I have owned probably hundreds of the t-shirts that we have. And as I was getting heavier, I quit buying shirts over 4XL, and I just started wearing gray t-shirts. So it's been a long time since I had been wearing my company shirts. In fact, I wore one a couple weeks ago, and it was noticed that I was wearing one because I don't generally wear one. And so it was nice to be able to fit into that. Going through this old box, I probably found 6 to 10 shirts, a few of them long sleeve, which will be really nice going into the winter to have some long sleeve shirts that fit. But I found the dress pants, found some shirts, found some other shirts that I hadn't seen or worn in a long time, and was able to get those out as well. But the biggest thing was, like I said, would have been my non-scale victory here, and I'm going to try to pull it up on the screen. It's going to come up. But I was going through, and with the dress pants, I did find an old belt. And if you can see what's going on with this belt, this is actually kind of a sad scenario here, is that this is the end of the belt, and there's 3 manufactured holes, and then there's one hole on the very end there. And that was a hole that I put in the belt so that I would still be able to wear it as I was getting heavier. And then probably grew out of that, started wearing sweatpants. So I found this belt in storage, and it was crazy to kind of find that. Like I said, it's kind of sad to see that, because it was kind of my progression of getting fatter to the point where I couldn't wear that belt anymore. But I was able to wear that belt and have it on about the furthest down hole that you see. I had a couple holes down from the end. So that was kind of an odd, or I guess non-scale victory, in that I was able to use this belt again after I had put it in storage, because I had gotten too heavy to wear it, or gotten too big of a waist to wear it in the past. So I found that in storage as I was going through. So that ended up being the belt that I wore to the wedding. And we had actually gotten some shirts that somebody was donating that fit me for the shirt I wore for the wedding, which was nice as well. And I don't know if you guys, let's see, actually, let me not get ahead of myself here before I go here. So yeah, we got packed for the wedding and everything. I worked Friday, and then we left Friday evening. The trip down was it was an odd trip, because in the past, when we've traveled with our kids, we have not had any concern, not had much concern about whether or not they were eating a vegan diet or eating a plant-based diet. And this time I was trying to make more of a point for them to eat a plant-based or vegan diet, I guess it'd be better to say, because it's not really plant-based. So we had, on the way down, the timing of everything was that we were able to get the kids some food before we left, but it's like a 4-hour drive. Kids are going to they're going to need to stop to go to the bathroom. They're going to want to get food when we're going down. And it was difficult to not just get them something that was animal based. The gas station we stopped at had a big chicken restaurant, not a big, but it had a chicken restaurant attached to the gas station where they had chicken sandwiches and chicken fingers, but nothing I was hoping they would have like potato wedges, but they didn't have anything like that. It was all chicken things that they had. So we did stop at a gas station and got the kids some chips and some drinks. We're able to avoid getting anything with animal products there. And right outside of St. Louis, we stopped in a town, I don't know the name, but we did stop at a Burger King and got a couple of the Impossible Whoppers. And we split those between the kids, and then we got them fries as well. And the kid, I think they all liked it. I think they all really liked it. So that was really nice to have a solution for something that we can grab. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of restaurants that do things like the Impossible Whopper. And I don't know that every Burger King even does the Impossible Whopper either. And so it could be something where you could stop at one and they don't offer that sandwich, but we were lucky that they did offer it that evening. So we were able to kind of avoid that evening. We got into town very late, got into the hotel room, and I'm actually going to try to pull this up and talk with this kind of at the same time. It's not going anymore. So we got to the hotel and we had a really nice hotel room. Overall, it was downtown St. Louis. I don't know how well that shows up there, but there's like a Ferris wheel downtown. There was a big theater right next to that or something. And then we were on about the third floor of the building. If we were higher up, it would have been a little bit nicer view, but it was still kind of neat to see the busy downtown. Even going down there, we had gone through Springfield, Illinois, which is the capital. I think it's anyways. We went through Springfield, and that's a big town as well. And where we're from, there's tall buildings and there's a decent amount of people, but something like St. Louis or these towns, those are big buildings that are downtown. I think and so it was cool getting into downtown. That's where we stayed. We ended up getting a place because we have so many kids, and when you type in, you have, 2 adults, 4 kids, you don't get a ton of options for hotels, but where we stayed ended up being what is called a residence inn. And because of the number of people, our room, and I don't have more photos of the room itself, but it was 2 rooms. One room had 2 queen size beds. The other room had a sleeper sofa, and it had a kitchen in it, which was really nice. And this is the kitchen that the hotel room had in it. There was a dishwasher. There was a stove. You can kind of see the corner of it next to the refrigerator. It was a large refrigerator with a large freezer. And that was great because we had brought, and you can see it on the counter, we had brought our Instapot because we planned on making a bunch of potatoes at the very least with the Instapot to have to kind of, for me and Carrie to eat or to get through the weekend. And when we got there and we had this really nice kitchen, we kind of changed some of our plans. And I think that this photo might even be before we left, or but we ended up going grocery shopping in St. Louis and buying a few items. Carrie says because we're giant nerds, we brought the Instapot. Yes. We didn't want to get stuck without having something, and the Instapot, Carrie can make a lot of things in pretty easy. Yeah, so that was really nice to have that. We ended up getting up Saturday morning, and the hotel had a breakfast that they offered at the hotel. I ended up going down there with the kids and getting them everything together, and ended up like not really, I don't know if it was just so much going on and it was early, but I ended up grabbing them eggs and putting eggs on their plates. But other than that, there was these chocolate muffins that I'm sure had dairy in them as well. But I did a decent job, or I felt like I was able to do a decent job of trying to avoid the animal products for breakfast. Like I said, I did put the eggs on, but most of them didn't like the eggs because they were buffet kind of scrambled wet eggs. So they probably weren't that good anyways. And the kids ended up having waffles, which I don't know if there was eggs in that or not, but we ended up having the continental breakfast. I did kind of, like I said, I kind of grabbed the eggs, and it was tough to tell them no, they couldn't have some things when there's an abundance of them just laying out. Like, what was the other? Oh, like the yogurts. That was tough as well because they all wanted yogurt. And so we ended up when I said we went grocery shopping during the day on Saturday, because we had Carrie's parents were able to watch the kids for an hour or two. So we went grocery shopping, and then we actually bought the kids breakfast for Sunday morning. So we didn't have to really deal with going down to the hotel room breakfast. But yeah, that was nice to have a hotel that had a great kitchen like this. And then they also had plates and forks and knives, and there was a pan and, cooking stuff. So we didn't have to bring any of that stuff ourselves. Cups, lots of cups for the kids, which was great to have and not be dealing with those plastic cups that are, in the plastic bags. So the hotel room ended up working out really nice. The wedding that we were going to was for a relative of my wife's. She's from St. Louis. It was at a place in the city of St. Louis called the City Museum. And I've not been to the City Museum. My kids have been to the City Museum once, maybe twice, but I have not been there. And as part of the package that the bride and groom purchased for the wedding, anybody who was coming to the reception got admission to the City Museum all day Saturday without any charge. So that's what we ended up doing on Saturday. The hotel that we were at was very close to downtown. So it was like a 1.5 mile drive, only a few minutes to get there. There was very little traffic downtown, and the City Museum probably was not as busy as it normally is. We ended up getting parking because we were there so early. We ended up getting a spot that was literally the closest parking spot to the front door. Is where we were able to park because we got, like I said, we got there early, and the parking guy liked that we paid cash as opposed to paying with a credit card, because I'm sure he deals with credit cards all day. So we ended up getting a really nice parking spot, spending the whole day at the City Museum. It's a really cool place. Carrie, says such a cool place. It's really like they gave a bunch of welders all kinds of scrap metal and a bunch of materials and construction debris and said, hey, just go stick all of this together. And then they took a bunch of artists and said, hey, we're going to give you a bunch of this foam or rock or whatever, and you're going to go and you're going to make these caves and these tunnels. And so they turned this old building in downtown St. Louis into kind of a fun place for kids and adults and everybody. And there's so much detail and so many different things at the place. And I actually, of course, this went dead just as I went to go get it. But let me load this back up. So, I'll wait for this to come up. So we ended up going there, and I have my arm in the arm brace, which sucks because it makes some things difficult to do, but it's nice that I was able to get the brace opened up. Like if I didn't have full range of motion, it would have made a lot of the things that I ended up doing more difficult. I did take some photos, and I have them in an album here. I'm not exactly sure the order, but I'm going to just go through kind of some of the things from the family. I keep saying there's a place near us called the Family Museum. This is the City Museum in St. Louis. This first photo here, this was in the outdoor area, and I had just walked up those steps, and we'd actually been there for hours, but I just walked up those steps, and I kind of got to the top and thought about how crazy it was that I got up those steps without any effort at all. And like I said, I had been walking around and doing a lot of stuff already at that point. And just thinking of, like I said, I walked up them and just thought of how much of a burden that would have been 200 pounds ago and how easy it was this time. This is actually my daughter in that photo, but we had climbed through a maze of whatever to get to the point we are at here. You can kind of see down to the bottom of the floor there. I don't know if we started on the first floor or not to get to that point, but I thought it was a cool kind of photo, and it kind of shows a lot of the metalwork that they had done to make these different stairways and different tunnels. This was inside of the building, and they had what was called a 5-story slide and a 10-story slide. The humps that you see there are, so what I'm zoomed in there is actually the slides coming down. On the right side, kind of here, probably are the spiral staircases that you use to kind of get up to those slides. We ended up going in there. Our oldest kid had gotten ahead of us because he wanted to go on the 10-story slide. We weren't sure how to get to the 10-story slide, so we ended up walking up like to where the 5-story slide was and didn't see him there. Came back down, couldn't find him for a while, and then when I finally did find him, I screwed that up. I wasn't supposed to do that. When I did finally find him, I was kind of like, well, I climbed up all these steps to find the 5-story slide, and I've gone up. I actually went up those steps probably twice to go to try to find him because we didn't see him for a while because he had gone up the 10-story steps and he had done it twice in the time we were looking for him. So I ended up making him climb up the steps a third time. So he did like 30 flights of steps. But I did end up getting all the way up there and went down the slide because I wasn't going to climb up there and not go down the slide. That was an interesting experience too, because I'm a larger guy, so it's tough to know how those things are going to go. And it's like a spiral slide at a playground only 10 stories tall. They have a video camera up at the top so you can see, there's an attendant that has the people take turns so they can make sure that somebody gets through. 2 of my kids went down the slides before me, and I could tell they weren't going really fast. It's a really tight kind of spin, and your body kind of gets pushed against the wall and it slows you down. And on the video, I could even see them kind of get to the bottom and they had to kind of scoot out to get out. And so I knew that, like I said, I knew it was going to push me into the side that is also the side that is my bad arm. And I got positioned such that like my right hip was on the ground and my left hip was actually on like the wall. And my foot was not in a real comfortable position, but it was sliding. And I know that if I had my foot in a different position, the rubber from the sole would have slowed me down. And I ended up getting myself in such a position that I flew down those steps. Like I was, or not steps, but that slide. Like I was cruising down the slide, and I was able to slow myself down by adjusting my foot. So I didn't get too crazy with the speed, but I came out the bottom and like shot out the end kind of, or came out the end better than anybody we had seen in any of the videos came out. And both my kids were, made a big, deal about how fast I was going, and I stood up and I was like, I gotta take a minute because I got really dizzy. And then Carrie says a video monitor so people can see you get a giant wedgie. Yeah, that's all Carrie could talk about because she had done this before when she came with the kids a couple years ago, and she just talked about how she got this big wedgie, and I didn't end up like I said, I got myself in a good position, and I actually put like my right hand on the center post as I was coming down, and it worked out great. And it was a lot of fun. I'm glad that I went up and did the slide. Again, I would have probably died of a heart attack trying to make it up, and then got stuck just getting into the hole. Like, this place is crazy how many little holes there are everywhere that you go through. And I think I have some photos of that here. So that was cool with that. This is the outdoor place, outdoor part of it. Again, they just have like there was 2 old airplanes that they had welded up on top of these things, and just all kinds of metal wire. Like, that's a tube that goes from one airplane to the other that you can crawl through, or they have catwalks with stairs to make it easy. So it was cool how they had different paths to get to the different places based on your ability and your size and things like that. Where I was here actually was inside of a plane, and I had gone through this hole here that it's kind of hard, but it's really just like that hole there that I ended up crawling through to get to where I was. And 200 pounds ago, I wouldn't even come close. I wouldn't even been in this part of the structure 200 pounds ago. This was another example of a hole that I had crawled through. I actually took a video of me crawling. I guess I'll play it here, but this is, don't tell my doctor. I wasn't, in fact, my left hand is holding the camera here. That way I'm not, using it to support any of my weight. But I was crawling underneath, I don't even know. There's like a mock city above me here. And actually, the funny part about what happened at the end of that video, I didn't have there. But what caused me to turn that off was as I was coming, and I had just been through this spot maybe 3-4 minutes prior, because I did get to a point where I had to turn around. I got to a spot where I wasn't going to go through the hole that was there. It was kind of like that spiral thing I showed you coming off the plane. So I went back through the hole, and that's why I decided to take the film, because I was going back through the hole I had just come in. And as I got to the end of that, there were 2 kids sitting in like the darkness of the tunnel in the corner. A boy and a girl sitting, the girl was sitting on his lap. And I do not think they expected me to be coming around the corner. I didn't have the camera running still but I did have my camera in my hand, and it was filming. So that was an interesting happening there. So I was down where all the kids go down to make out, I guess. But yeah, that was kind of all the photos I took of the place that I have. Really such a cool place, so fun, and I'm so happy that I'm not 520 pounds, because we were going to this wedding no matter what. And so whether I was, in fact, this wedding was supposed to happen like last year at this time, and it got postponed. So I would have been 520 pounds, and I would have been so frustrated had I been that heavy and gone there, because I had a great time with my kids. We were playing in all of the different things with each other, and just to see them kind of really, the coolest thing about that place is how much bravery the kids really have to show, like to do things. In fact, there was we went to Wisconsin Dells, and the place that we stayed had like a ropes thing for kids where they could be up elevated and tied to a rope. And had I known my kids had done that at the City Museum in St. Louis, I would have totally pushed them harder at that place, because some of the stuff they were doing at the City Museum took a bit more coordination and bravery than the kind of tied in ropes thing. Carrie says so good for their confidence. Yeah. And it's really cool, and those places are built. I always have confidence that if there was anything that dangerous there, it wouldn't be there still, because they would have had problems with people getting injured. The I don't have a photo of it, but they had these slides that were like these it was like if you were on a half pipe of a skating ramp and you were to sit on the edge and just slide down the skating ramp on your butt. That's the kind of how steep some of these slides were at the place. And it was cool seeing my kids kind of figure it out in their heads and learn what to do. But so yeah, that was Saturday during the day. Had a great time. Ended up wearing the kids out. Yeah, the ones that are inside were made of concrete. There was a big metal one outside too that was over by one of the sides that Danny went down. So yeah, we did that all morning, wore the kids out. I mean, wore me and Carrie out. I didn't end up, I should have connected my watch to my phone to see what I had for steps or workouts. I should have done that, but it takes too long for me to do that now. So we ended up doing that for the morning. Went back to the hotel because it was really nice to have the hotel only a mile away. And we took the kids back to the hotel, had them kind of relax, get cleaned up for the wedding. Me and Carrie went shopping, bought some groceries for us, bought some food for us to eat before the wedding because we knew that they were going to have options for everybody, but not really options for our specific diet because we don't eat the salt, oil, and sugar. So ended up going shopping, which was kind of cool, going downtown St. Louis shopping. They had some different vegan options. They had a cherry juice that I had been looking for because I have been I've been drinking cherry juice as part of my recovery with my arm. It's supposed to help with inflammation, and so it was cool to try something different. With that, we also were able to pick up some fruits, and we made our own oatmeal Sunday morning because we hadn't planned on making our own oatmeal. The hotel actually did make oatmeal, but it was not good oatmeal. It was very plain, very much an oatmeal that they expected you to put sugar and other things in that we just didn't have access to, or that we weren't going to put in to it. But we got ready for the wedding, ended up going to the wedding back at the family museum, got up there, and it was really a nice wedding. Like, the whole place is this really cool place. And they like rope off like a big section of it for the wedding. I think they might have other places that they do other receptions at in the same building as well. The kids were actually able to still play if they wanted to inside the city museum while the wedding and the reception was going on, which was cool, but it also kind of sucked because we didn't want our kids to be running around in the museum while we were at the wedding. So our kids really didn't, but some of the other kids did go out there, and it was nice that they had something that they could do. The overall, like I said, the wedding was great. I knew people were going to make comments about the fact that I've lost weight, but I saw a lot of these people just a couple months ago, and I don't know that I've lost a lot of weight since then, but I probably have, and I've maintained, or even if I've lost 20 more pounds, my beard was cleaned up, I was wearing nice clothes, It was a different type of event. The thing that I had seen them a couple months previous was something where I was still wearing baggy clothes. It was a camping thing. My beard was probably a mess and everything. But it was nice to get the comments from people. I wasn't expecting to have as many comments. And then also I was surprised that some of those people mentioned that they watched this, my videos as well. So I do appreciate that. Thank you for watching my videos. And I can't talk crap about you now. I was going to say all these awful mean things and now I got to be nice. No. But no, it was really cool having people acknowledge it. Carrie had people acknowledge it as well. It was on my cover photo here, but one of the things I was excited about getting to do as part of this was almost exactly a year ago to kind of the date. We had a 50th wedding anniversary for my party for my parents who had their 50th wedding anniversary. And we had photos taken at that event, and they were not great photos of us. They were, we were both at kind of our peak weights. I think that the photos that Carrie had, the photos that were taking of us at that anniversary were what got Carrie going on her weight loss. Like that was where she kind of started, was shortly after this when the photos were out. You know, she started really, I think, paying attention to things. There was, I think, a thing called 75 hard she was doing. And then there was something else where she was counting all kinds of macro and micronutrients and different things. But, so for me, I thought it was nice that we were going to be able to get dressed up and potentially get another photo together, and we did. And so I have it here. I don't know if it's going to be most of my screen or if just the side, but I had put this together. So this is a comparison of a photo I showed you before and then the other photo. But the top photo there is from a year ago, and I am probably every bit of 520 pounds in that photo. You know, I look at it, I don't see a ton of differences between me in the first photo and the second. I mean, I see differences. My face is definitely thinner. You can see my neck. My shoulders look like they've dropped. But really, Carrie looks amazing in this second photo, and you know, in comparison to the first photo, just the smile and everything. But yeah, I was happy to have this kind of comparison. And I joke with Carrie is that it's not a before and after, it's a before and during photo. You know, we have yet to do the before and after photo, but it really is awesome to see the difference that we were able to make in a year. And that's not even a year really, it's 10 months, but the photo differences are a year. And the difference we'll be able to have in the next year is going to be great as well. Gold Bear says, such a great photo. You guys look amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the confidence, and like I said, having people come up to me right away and make comments is really, you know, nice. It helps with the confidence as well, because then you know that, you know, if a few people are noticing, that a lot of people have noticed. And you know, and we've both lost a noticeable amount of weight, especially from where we had gotten ourselves to. And it's weird for us a bit too, because we feel so removed from this side of the family. We don't see them that much. So, you know, there might have been a year or two where I didn't see a few of those people that I'm seeing now. So, but yeah, it turned out good. It could have been, you know, it could have been a better photo of me, but it's a good photo. So yeah, that was great. You know, the wedding for me was not that difficult. I think it was a little bit more difficult for Carrie. It was a family wedding for her family, not my wedding, you know, not my family. So I can kind of, I don't know, I kind of put myself on the kids, like I'm taking care of the younger kids, and that'll be my focus. And I don't really care if I, socialize a ton. I like talking to the people, and I like, having conversations. But if I'm spending time interacting with my kids, it's not, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. And so, the, so Carrie is hanging out with her relatives, her cousins, her aunts, her uncles, and it's more difficult for her to be, I guess the most difficult thing for Carrie, and I'm gonna a bit call her out for, but it's a tradition. She's from St. Louis. There's a place in St. Louis called Gus's Pretzels, and they have, every time we go to something with their family, they have Gus's Pretzels. It's the end of the night, and they have Gus's Pretzels out, and I know it was killing Carrie not to go have one of those pretzels. And it's tough, I mean, like I said, every wedding she'd ever gone to on her side of the family, they have Gus's Pretzels with cheese, and they go ham on it. I mean, it's, and Carrie did have some wine. She had a red wine, yeah, she danced it off. Carrie does like to dance at weddings. That was, and that's another thing I don't mind dealing with the kids, because then I don't have to worry about dancing, because, I don't have to dance. But the overall, for the kids, I guess I didn't really talk about what we did at the reception for them, but we did let them eat a little bit of the meat. But they had a pasta dish that was amazing. Everybody who had the pasta dish said it was amazing. Even the lady giving us the food was like, "You should get this pasta." So that was nice that the kids were able to really eat a lot of pasta. They did have some mashed potatoes, which I'm sure were just covered in butter to make them taste good as well. But then cake at the end of the day. I can't tell my kids that everybody else is going to eat cake, but you guys aren't going to have cake. And that's not, again, with our kids, we're not militant about these things. And really, if in the future we decide to, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to, but I don't think Carrie will either. But that's a whole different day of talking about that, I suppose, about veganism and all of that stuff now. Let me see where I am. I've gone very long today. It was a long weekend. We had a lot going on. We traveled home, and the difference between, so the wedding finished great, got home, kids were wiped out, slept in the next morning at the hotel room. Got everybody up. We had bought breakfast at the grocery store, so we made breakfast Sunday morning, got everybody loaded in the car. And the difference that we should have done on the way down, and whatever, but didn't think of it. We were doing so many other things, but we made sandwiches for the kids for the ride home. So we had to stop for gas, but we did not end up having to stop for food. And then we had to stop for one of the kids to go to the bathroom, but because we didn't have to stop for food, we were able to just stop at a rest area on the side of the road, which also made it easy to not tell them, no, you can't have these things at the gas station. Because there's really, the only thing at the rest station was a vending machine. Got home, me and Carrie ate a bunch of Spanish rice for dinner, because that has been one of our new favorite quick kind of meals to eat, has been Spanish rice. Yeah, I think that's about all I had for the weekend. I mean, there was a lot that happened, and I could go on and on about stuff. And like I said, I had a great time at the City Museum, doing so many things I didn't think I could do, and just, yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. But yeah, I guess I'll get back into it. I'll be on tomorrow, regular stream. Oh, I did have a couple questions from people. I'll answer them tomorrow, I guess. But I want to thank you guys for checking out today's broadcast. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Click on the bell icon so that you can turn on notifications so you'll get alerted when I go live, which is usually 4 p.m. on weekdays. There's a Discord if you want to join the Discord. Carrie shares a lot of the recipes that we eat in the Discord, so that would be a great place to check that out as well. I shaved my beard. I didn't even acknowledge that, but I did shave my beard, so I do look a lot different, I suppose. Yeah, so thanks guys for checking out my broadcast today. I appreciate you guys checking out my videos. If you haven't started your diet, get started right now. There's nothing that is worth waiting to get started on your diet. Get started right now and tell somebody that you're dieting. Let them know what you're doing. See, maybe they'll give you more support than you expected. Maybe they've been waiting for you to say that you're going to get started so that they can give you all the support they can. You never know. So I, again, want to thank you guys, and we will see you guys tomorrow.